Hey everyone, my name is Brandon. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Mercury Alert AI. I developed a lot of the product, and so I'm here to show people how to interact with it and use it, and better keep an eye on their loved one using AI and our product. So again, this is what the hardware looks like and the actual device. So this just sticks on the wall, and it will monitor your loved one, but you also need to opt into the alerts, be able to look at the analytics that we collect for you. And so you do all of that through our user dashboard. You can access that on our website, mercuryalert.ai, or through our mobile apps, which are on iOS and Android, just as Mercury Alert in the app stores. So if we just go to our website and click this View User Dashboard button, it'll take us to our portal where you can sign up or log in. I recommend signing up through our mobile app as you set up your device, but you can sign up here as well. And then, to log in, you just put your email and password. In this case, I'm going to use our dummy account, which just shows demo data, but you'll put in your own and get real world data. So here we see the different tiles that correspond to different devices that are set up. So if you're a family and you have multiple devices in your home, let's say one in the living room, one in the bedroom, one in the kitchen, you'll see one tile per device, and you'll name that device accordingly. So maybe this will be bedroom, this will be living room, and this will be kitchen. But also, like for senior living or for home care agencies, you're going to monitor multiple people, and each device you're just going to name corresponding to that person being monitored. So in this case, that's how it is labeled. Again, it's the exact same thing for a family, it's just how you're naming it. And you'll just see different things. In this case, they're all bedrooms. Each tile, again, corresponds to a person, and it corresponds to what the AI is detecting that person is doing. So this person is in bed, and they've been in bed for the last 45 minutes. Let's go into Andrew. So if we click into Andrew, we can see that he's been in bed. It changed to 3 hours. Again, it's dummy data, so it's just for the portal's like a demo's sake, but yours will actually show real information. Some families have wanted to view a live feed into the room, so the flow for that is if someone falls, they get a phone call. They can open saying that their loved one had fallen. They can open the mobile app and they can view a live feed and see that their loved one had fallen in a certain area of the room and respond accordingly. So others don't want access to this feature, and so we disable it depending on that need or use case. But you would just click it in here and be able to view into the room. You can also give different permissions to different caregiver accounts. So let's say you add another family member, we'll go over this later, to monitoring your loved one. You can control their ability to view the live feed, view a blurred feed, and so on. And that's all done through there. The safety score is a measure of how fall prone someone is at night based off of their nightly activity. I developed it based off of what the AI detects. And so if you're spending most of the time in bed, you're going to get a safety score close to 100. And as you spend less and less time in bed, or your loved one spends less and less time in bed, the score gets deducted from. So, and it's weighted by the different things that they're doing. So if they leave the room for a long period of time, that gets a bigger deduction than if they're just sitting at the side of the bed. Generally, we like to see this above 70, but it really is a very individual thing. Sleep patterns are very, very individual and correlate with age. So as someone gets older, you're just going to see consistently these numbers are lower. This graph is really, really useful. It's like our staple graph of showing what is happening overnight. And it looks a little confusing at first, but once you understand it, it's very useful. So on this axis, we have the different states that the AI detects. So is someone in bed? Have they sat up at the side of the bed? Or have they already left the bed? And then this axis is the timeline over Monday night. So, it's Tuesday. This is last night. And we can see that this person went to bed at 6 p.m. and then around 9 p.m. left the bed and then went back into bed. And then around 11, same thing. And so you can monitor this night over night. Again, it is only showing the nighttime information, and all of our analytics pertain to nighttime because daytime people are wandering around the room, or they've left the room, or they have a caregiver present, and so it's not as helpful. This is all the data is pertaining to nighttime. But yeah, it's just useful to look at this. This person, sat up a bunch of times one night and get this kind of geriatric information and data. Okay, the next section, another very important section, allows you to customize the different alerts that you receive. So, well, first we can set the name of the person and the type of the room. But then we can also choose, do we want to receive alerts? And alerts come in as push notifications, text messages, and then in the emergency cases, phone calls. So, if you don't want to receive alerts, you just select it off. If you do, you can turn it on, and we can opt into different alerts. I'm going to go through all of them here. They're categorized as emergencies, fall prevention, and other coverage. So in the emergency case, like fall, you just click it and make sure it's checked, and suddenly you'll get notified if someone falls. If they don't return to bed in a normal period of time, so the AI can actually look at what their nightly pattern is and see if they leave the bed, let's say, to go to the bathroom for 10 minutes every night. But let's say you don't have full coverage of devices all over. In this case, where there isn't coverage, you'll still get a notification and an emergency alert saying they didn't return to bed. You might want to check on them. Device disconnected. So we do require Wi-Fi, or we also provide a cellular option with the device. And so if it ever goes offline, you will get notified. That is an occasion, but yeah, we can, obviously there's no coverage if the device can't connect to the internet. Fall prevention. So in some cases, people want to know at nighttime, like caregivers want to know when someone sits up. We see that mostly in home care and senior living, so that the caregiver can go and respond immediately. And so, yeah, that helps them prevent falls. So like if someone sits up and they're not supposed to get out of bed by themselves, but they do, the caregiver can go and help and prevent a fall that way. The other coverage is if someone leaves the room, if they stand up, or they return to bed. So we can determine all those things through the AI, and it automatically detects them, and we just have to opt into those alerts. And yeah, all of these alerts, except for the fall, are sent during the nighttime hours that is automatically detected. So generally it's going to be somewhere between 9 p.m. and 9 a.m. That's when you get all of the different detection alerts, except for falls. Falls are 24/7. And the reason that is again, most of the time people are being, they have other things going on during the day. You don't need to know if they sat up in the middle of the day. But yeah. And then this last part is important for customizing the product to your family's use case or your agency's use case or business. So you can add different caregivers here just by email. So they go and sign up with their email, and then you just put you have a admin account and you have the ability to add caregivers. And let's say you have a family member that you want to monitor your loved one as well. So let's say I have a device, I'm monitoring maybe my grandparent, and then my sister, let's say I want her to have access to this information as well. I want her to receive alerts. I want her to just have access. So I can add her as a caregiver. She sets up an account. I put her email in, and suddenly she has access to this on her portal. And then she can opt in to her own set of alerts. So let's say I'm the primary caregiver. I want to receive everything. I would just click everything here. In her portal, when she logs in with her account, she'll just be able to select fall, and she'll get fall alerts and phone calls and nothing else. So it is individual. Other ways we see people use this is home care agencies will get access to all of the people that they monitor, and then the families will also get access. So that way you can have just many caregivers monitoring one person. If we click into more analysis, we can see all the detailed analytics that I developed. to help families just keep a better eye out and understand what's happening over time. This is good information also to share with a geriatrician, a doctor, etc. So again, it's if they're in bed, sitting out of bed, we went over that. That's here. You can see how much time they're spending in bed. So 13 hours. How much time they're sitting, how much time they're out of bed. This one's really cool. It's when they most frequently leave the night. So in this case, you can find that 40% of nights they leave the bed at 2 a.m. and 40 at 4 a.m. So that's really important. A safety trend, or the safety score trend, again, this is a measure of how much time they're spending these fall prone positions, like wandering around, leaving the room, sitting up at night, and it's generally very stable for an individual. A cool story that we have is we were working with a home care agency, and the caregiver was on site, so at the house at night, and was using our product just to monitor the older adult from the other room. That way they didn't have to go in and check and poke their head in, and were able to preserve that level of privacy with the older adult. But they made a medication change, and they noticed the safety score went down pretty considerably. So it was around 60 or 70, and it went all the way down to 40, and it stayed there. And they then realized that they made an update to the medication, and the safety score went back up. So yeah, you would be really surprised like how well our sleep is tied with well-being. And yes, that's actually something that they found to be very useful. The population comparisons, this is to show you how your loved one compares to our population of older adults. On average, people are spending with our population 8 hours in bed. This person spends quite a bit more, so this person's probably more bedridden, but that is common enough as well. You can see how much time people are spending sitting, how much time they're out of bed, and then compare against that as well. So in this case, they spend 5 or 15 minutes out of bed at night, and our average is 24. So that's actually better in theory. And then you can click into it and see the weekly record of for each one of those, if they're for in bed, how much time they're spending in bed over the past week. So yeah, that's it. The only other thing in the portal is, if we go all the way back, the different alerts that you get. So the text messages and push notifications, you'll be able to see in this alerts tab at the top. Because this is a demo account, it doesn't receive any alerts, but once you receive alerts, you will be able to see them as text messages if you opt into that, or you'll just get them as push notifications and be able to view them in here. The alerts look something like, Andrew is sitting, Andrew returned to bed, Andrew fell. And again, for falls, you'll also get an automated voice call. The settings, so for settings, you can change your phone number here. In this case, we just have a dummy data, but you would be able to put your phone number in here or change it, your email and your name. We also in the mobile app have an option to install new devices and add new devices in the settings. So if you start with one device and then want to add another one, you can just do that here in the mobile app. You can't do that with the portal because it actually requires using a phone to set up. And yeah, just other features that we have coming is two-way audio communication. So if someone falls, you'll be able to press a button and speak directly through the device to your loved one. And then, yeah, we're always more analytics. I spent a lot of time developing this with families, so I'm always open to new suggestions and adding new features and looking at the data and information and detections in a new way. So always open to feedback if any families have that. And yeah, just to tell my story, my dad was monitoring my grandfather when I was in high school, and my grandfather, my dad tried using pendants, he tried using cameras, and my grandfather didn't like to wear the pendants, and my dad would use a camera, but he never knew when to check it. And one day my grandfather fell. He was on the ground for over 6 hours, and my dad didn't know. I think he randomly was calling my grandfather, and my grandfather didn't pick up. And so my dad called the neighbor. The neighbor went over and checked and saw that he was on the ground, and obviously, and then had to go to the ER. And so, yeah, obviously, if my dad had some kind of alert uh, that my grandfather was on the ground, he would have known to check sooner, and that disaster scenario of being on the ground for 6 hours wouldn't have happened. Um, I think we all, eventually have to deal with this. It's very sad, and the idea is to reduce the amount of pain, suffering of older adults being in those really critical positions, um, just by having AI let us know when something's wrong. So thanks so much, and I really hope people find this useful. It was quite a thrill to build, and I would love to continue to add new features as people need them, and just to keep more people safe. Thank you.